So I was just, hearing your, the conversations. I had been following you for last couple of months,
Yeah.
and like you had been talking about the conscious choice, and you just mentioned that, the body makes a choice just 6 seconds prior to you making a real choice about that. So that does that mean that never really actually you make a conscious choice?
No, never. And who would be the person that makes a conscious choice? So there is this functioning of thought happening. So there is this thinking that's happening, this voice inside the head that's saying, pick the banana over the apple because the banana's better for you, or because you like bananas more, or whatever it is. Whereas this is to scientists. They say that that's already been decided in the body, and then the conscious choice arises in the mind. They say the functioning of choice making is actually teaching the body and informing the body of its surroundings. So
Okay.
it's like a receiver. It's not actually about somebody being in there that makes the choice. It's about updating the body about the surrounding by distinguishing what's in the environment and putting information into the system. But yeah, so it's really beautiful because that means that nobody is guilty, and also nobody is the hero. Like, everyone is simply acting out their karma. And when I say their karma, I don't mean a person's karma, but just life's karma. It's just being acted out, and it's nothing personal. It's a happening, which to me it, equals love. Like, seeing that is really love.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I just, I did hit a roadblock actually,
Yeah,
because, I had been thinking, I mean, all this time, like, maybe like, you have the karma, which is something like a conditioning
yeah,
due to probably
yeah,
your birth and your family and your
yeah,
environment, surroundings, whatever it is.
yeah,
And then finally, like, like once you can get rid of this this compulsion, then probably you can get rid of karma, and that becomes some sort of an approach towards a liberated life. But like, as what you said, like, you said that it is a part of an overall, like, it's a holistic thing, like
yeah,
you are just a part of it. So
yeah,
it really doesn't, I mean, the two thoughts really doesn't, conquer to each other. So
yeah.
that's where like I hit a roadblock. Sorry, like,
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, sometimes through, I mean, through the investigation of this subject and the involvement in it, karma is going to change. Like, karma is always being changed. Conditioning and genetics are always being updated. So it is going to change the way that body-mind mechanism responds. It's like putting new information in. But everybody has karma. In the end, everyone is destined to die. Not that there is really a thing as death, but transformed. Like, every body is destined to be transformed into something else. So it grows and it blossoms and it'll be at its most beautiful, and then it begins to decay, and then finally will transform into something else, which to most humans is the worst thing that can happen, but that's the same with everything. So whatever you think is bad karma, in the end, everybody is annihilated. Like, I'm not laughing at people for that, but I mean, like, nobody beats karma. And nobody, so sometimes we get this idea of having the perfect karma and it'll make our lives happier. But it's just part of the flow that things blossom and then things decay. And when you take it personally, then it's so difficult to watch some of those things. Like, people suffer so much from their experiences in life, and everybody has tragedy to an extent. Like, nobody really goes through this life avoiding it.
Okay, yeah. So, does that mean that you really don't have any control over, getting rid of karma?
There is nobody that has control over it. Um,
Okay, so
so
yeah,
that
sorry,
there is
go
nobody that
ahead.
has control over it. It's something that's happening. But obviously, there is wisdom, but whether or not that wisdom is listened to is down to destiny. It's down to life. So, like I remember my Buddhist teachers, when I was younger, I used to practice Buddhism, and they used to describe it that, you know, if you go out and you drink lots of alcohol, then the next day a hangover follows. So and that is karma. And from understanding that information, then more than likely the body picks up new conditioning and changes its way. Like, so, and the problem in our society is a lot of people don't really understand what they're doing. They're quite out of touch with what their body's actually doing. So, say if you're being passive aggressive towards your family member, say towards your mother. So passive aggressive means like you're playing it nice, but underneath you're being jaggedy with her. Often people aren't conscious that they're doing that. So then when the mother reacts and shouts at you, then you believe it's her, and then you feel victimized by it. So you believe, so then there's no change in that situation. There's no shift that happens. But if information comes the way that you're actually going into the situation with a negative energy, if that's seen, then there's more than likely a changing that happens, which will change karma and will change relationships and will change outcomes. But in the end, you know, like nobody beats karma. Like there isn't a perfect karmic life. Like I speak with so many people around the world, and if we look at, say, money as being good karma or something, or being poor as bad karma, like I speak to such a variety of people, and I speak to people that have everything financially. They have wealth beyond what the rest of the world, like the majority of the world know, and there certainly isn't a more happiness there. And then I speak to people that are maybe on benefits in Europe or in Canada or Australia, or like benefits are like where government supports them, and then they're really happy and they're really free. So there's like we don't know what karma is, and I speak to people who, one person, they have their mother dying and it's like the most awful thing that can ever happen to them and they're really traumatized by it. And then another person I speak to and it was really healing and really beautiful and really opened them up. Yeah. So you can't define karma, like, or what it is, like what's good and bad in this life, really. It's the attitude. Like, to me, freedom is recognizing who you are, and then through that being a shift in the personal mentality. Like, so the freedom is recognizing who you are, and then through that it shifts the personal mentality, and life is looked at from a different perspective. It's looked at as something that's love, like something that's not against you, something that's not trying to hurt you. It's an expression of love, and through that realization there is freedom. Whereas a lot of people are looking at life like it's against them, like it's there to hurt them. And through that, no matter what you experience, whether you experience like really beautiful things, if you look and think life is going to hurt you, then you'll see all the bad things.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Sometimes I
Thank
go
you.
off on one. I
Thanks
speak a
once.
lot sometimes.
No. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, with pleasure. Is that everything? All the questions you had?
Yeah, that's exactly like, some people keep talking about like the karma and the liberation, and as if like, the conditioning is never going to affect you. Like, you do have a choice basically. Like, I mean, when you get liberated, like, you have a choice basically, like 3 or 4 actions probably which you can take, and that's your choice. And that is basically essentially means that you are getting rid of karma. And
Yeah.
now when I started listening to you a few months back, like something just set inside me that yes, really, like I really do not have much control over all these things. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
happening on its own.
Yeah.
So I mean, these two contrarian thoughts, like made a confusion. So I decided that let me ask you a question on this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so beautiful, this subject. like this part of non-duality. So the teachers that I really heard that from was Ramesh Bolsakar and Roger Castillo. These are two teachers that I met Ramesh first and went and lived in Mumbai for periods, or stayed in Mumbai for periods, and then from that I met Roger, and it's such a liberating teaching. It's so beautiful, because while you believe you're the doer, there's always this attachment to your actions and attachment to outcome. And it really is surrendering it all back to life and seeing that you don't own action and you don't own outcome, and they're not what you're really looking for. What you're really looking for is presence. They're just something that happens, like the tree grows and the flower blooms and the sun shines and the wind blows.
Okay, yeah. So Lisa, the next part of my question is like,
Yes.
are you coming to India?
No. No, I've had
Okay.
another guy that lives in Chennai asking me to come to India, and at the moment I've got a busy year ahead of me from other teaching, not from teaching non-duality, from personal things, and there's no travel. I'm just doing one retreat this year as well, so there's no travel planned. And I don't know in the future. I don't even know if travel will be planned in the future, because it's so amazing, the internet now. I don't know if we need to travel to do these talks. Like, it's really amazing that we can do it over YouTube and all be sitting in our home nice and comfy.
No, it's okay, but in satsang, it's really it's a different experience
Yeah,
altogether.
it's really beautiful. Whereabouts in India are you from? Hello?
Hey,
Sorry.
I think I lost contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in India are you from?
I'm from Calcutta.
Oh, nice. I've never been to Calcutta.
Yeah. Not a nice place to be in.
But isn't this above Calcutta? There's really beautiful areas, like lots of tea, like where tea is grown, and it's meant to be very beautiful north of Calcutta.
Yeah.
And
Not.
some nice beaches around there as
it's
well.
yeah, it's on the hills actually.
Yeah.
It's not really on Calcutta. I mean, Calcutta is more towards the sea, and
Yeah.
like you go up around 300 miles north of Calcutta, there will be tea gardens and all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but cities, I mean, all cities are like that. It's intense living in a city. My mum lives in a city, and I find it a lot going back and staying with her.
Great. Yeah.
Nice.
Lisa, you had been amazing. Like, I mean, it's really a pleasure for me basically to listen to our YouTube's conversations and all, like, and I look forward basically to hear more and more of your, the speeches.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Oh, lovely to meet you and speak to you on here.
Yeah, same here. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.